Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced and welcome to the final video of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start working on deployment. So the first thing I want to do, RE deployment, so I'm going to log out, okay, is I need to make sure that this is going to be pointing to, well, first is actually just update our Git. So I need to do a couple changes, Control C here, Git add dot, make sure that all my changes are updated, Git commit -m final changes with update and delete. Okay, let's go back to my backend. Let's kill that for a second. Git update, or no, git add dot git commit -m final changes. Technically, well, yeah. Okay. So for this, now I'm going to go to Heroku. So for my backend, I have it pushed up to GitHub. So all I have to do is head over to Heroku.com. And I'm going to create a new project. We're going to call this React Express Backend. And then I'm going to go to Settings. And I have to go to Deploy. I'm going to connect my GitHub repo. And I'm going to choose React Express. And I want to choose the backend because that's what we're deploying to Heroku. Front end will be to Netlify. Okay, so that is, I want to enable automatic deploys. So that way that's automatic. So any future push to GitHub will automatically have it rebuild itself. I'm going to do an initial deploy now, which will succeed, but the website should still not be working because right now it needs a data, all those environmental variables, all that stuff that was in the .env file. Well, that doesn't get pushed up to GitHub, so it doesn't have those to build to refer to. So really, it was just the port, which Heroku will give it a port, so we don't have to worry about that. But the Mongodb URI. So to get a Mongodb URI, we have to head over to mongodb.com. So you'll sign in, you'll get an account. Okay. You will sign in. And then when you sign in, you have to, when you first sign up for an account, if you don't have one, you're going to build a cluster. So this is going to take a second. Create a cluster. You just choose all the defaults. The free plan's fine. So there's creating a cluster. This will take a few minutes for this cluster to build. Okay, the other thing you want to make sure if you're starting a new account is you go to network access. Make sure that you've given access to all. So that way Heroku, whatever IP address Heroku is acting from, it can access your database. Cool. And then database access, we need to create a user, which I have a user, but I'm going to create a new temporary user for this particular purpose. So I'll call it user1 with a password of user1. So you can see what I'm doing. And it's going to be a temporary user. It's only going to last literally 6 hours. Okay, just long enough for this video to happen. Okie dokie. So I got 6 hours to show you guys how to do this. So we'll come back to this. But essentially, can I do the connect thing yet? No. Okay. Well, what's going to happen is that we will take our URL. So I might as well grab my Heroku URL now. So it's complaining because I have no authorization header, but it's working. That's not a bad thing. Okay. And I would need to replace my URL in my front end code with that URL. So that's why I made sure that I put it in the global state. That way I can just change it in one place. I don't have to go back and change it in a bajillion places. Just want to get rid of that last slash because again, all my other routes had that extra slash in there. So I don't want to make a slash. Cool. So that would fix that. So now that'll be reading from my Heroku API. I don't think there was any other changes that would necessarily need to be made. So I can head back to my front end, git add, git commit -m. API URL was the update. Git push origin master. So that's pushed up to GitHub. Let me check on Mongo. Nope, there it goes. It just finished. So we can finish this up. So I click connect. I want to connect my application. I'm going to copy this URL here. I'm going to put this up here for a moment. Okay, and I'm going to just change user1 as the username. User1 as the password. And then the database name, we'll call it React Express. Okay, cool, and that'll be the database. And again, you can change these project to project, but this is why you don't want it to be in your code, because you don't want, if I made this a permanent user and you saw the username and password, you could, well, use my database and edit and delete data, and I wouldn't want you to do that. But I copy this URL. I'm gonna head back over to Heroku, head back to my settings, here where it says reveal config vars. And if I remember right, it was Mongodb Uri was our environmental variable. And then I paste this here. Okay, cool. Save. So now our API should be up and going, should have everything it needs. Okay, and then now we can head over to Netlify, connect our front end repo, and then we'll see if everything works and troubleshoot from there. I mean, I already changed the URL on the front end, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So I'm going to connect to a GitHub repository. And I want to React Express. And I want the front end. See, it already picked up on the commands I need, so that's good. Deploy site. But usually this would be like whatever your build command is, depending on your setup. If you're using create React app, it's going to be npm run build or yarn build. And then the build directory, which is where it ends up building your website to. Oftentimes it'll automatically pick up on these things. If it doesn't, and you're using React, Vue, or Angular, make sure you know what your build command is. Look in your package.json. Do a test run locally to figure out where that folder is and go from there. Okay, so that's deploying. So we're going to give that a minute to build. And we'll see if it works. Hopefully it all works and we don't have to do any troubleshooting. Okay, just waiting for that. Actually, I think I can go here. Let's go right here. We can watch the build in progress. It's all yarn. It's doing all the things. Is it done? No, I don't think it's done. Yep, still doing stuff. Okay, and that looks like it's. Is that there? Please run the following command. I think it's almost done. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I know why. This is an issue with Create React App. Okay, so in Create React App, you have to change the package.json. So right here in the build script, in the package.json, you have to add CI equals space. Or else it'll trigger that exact error. So git add dot git commit dash m update git push origin master. That should rebuild in a second. That was anticlimactic. Oh no. Okay, let's head over to deploys. See, it's already building. It picked up on the update. So let's go watch this build. It's doing all the things. Successfully installed. YAR1222. And yeah, so what happens is that if you have Yarn installed, with Yarn is like an alternative to npm, when you use create React app, it'll default to Yarn. So it's just been using Yarn whenever I use it lately. If you don't have Yarn, it'll, when you run create React app, it'll use npm. But just so you understand, it's like you don't have to install Yarn. Although if you are using the template that I created, then yeah, it's probably going to want you to install Yarn. Okay, so that looks good. The build command's running, so see, you have to add that, and that kind of fixes things. Yeah, that looks a lot better. If I build complete, site is live. Okay, good. So let's go preview the deploy. This looks promising. Let's go to sign up. Let's create a user. Because again, this is now on our new Mongo database, no longer in our local database. So the user doesn't exist. So I hit sign up. Okay, that worked. Good. Now let's see if I can log in. Test 1. Cheese. That worked. Okay. Oh, wait. That's not what it should have done. Okay, let's hit Control-Shift-I. It took me back to home, but I should be seeing the dashboard. So then that, so that makes me wonder, where is app? Application. I mean, theoretically that would be here. Token undefined. So it didn't get back the token. So network. Let's try logging in again. Test 1. Cheese. Interesting. I'm not seeing any kind of... Oh, here we go. Heroku HTTPS bad request. Error. Error objects empty. You see here React Express backend .heroku app.auth /login. Failed to load resources. Server responded with status of 400. Okay, so to inspect this, we need to go take a look at the Heroku logs. So what I'm going to do is, if you have the Heroku CLI installed, if you don't have it installed, get it installed. Google it, Heroku CLI. And I type in Heroku Logs tail. And then I have to type in the name of the app whose logs I want to look at, which is React Express backend. React Express backend. I want to see what's this error coming from. Okay, I'll sign up. You're listening. Here we go. Stopping all processes. URL process. You're listening. We're connected to Mongo. That starting up. So it did connect to Mongo. It's listening on port. Post auth login. Sign up was successful, but the login did not. Nor did it give us a reason why the login did not. It just did not go well. So we're gonna have to do some more investigating. I'll do another video on this. I do have to finish up another task first, but we will wrap this up. But basically this should get you most of the way there. At this point, it's just troubleshooting to get at these final last changes. So I'll see you guys in the next and final video.